DonInLondon, hello. February the 12th, 2009. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My substance, alcohol. My behaviour, trying to be perfect. Because I knew you wanted me to be perfect, and actually never, ever, ever perfect. My videos, as I say, all about recovery, and one of the things about addiction is the nature of the problem keeps us very much in the problem, isolated, wondering how to get out of it, worried that people will see us for what we really are, alcoholics or addicts. And you know, the stigma attached can actually make it harder and harder for recovery, because not only do we have the stigma of others, we have our own personal prejudice against ourselves. And for some, this can lead to real self-obsession, selfishness beyond any measure that anybody else can understand, where nothing but nothing seems to penetrate through that wall of what about me, my life, resentment, hurt, fear, putting on a brave face, ego in the extreme, to the point where you cannot actually take any other person's point of view, and learning becomes really, really difficult. And that's where a lot of us get to. And I guess for some periods of my life I was like that. And I need to remind myself I'm not the only one who goes through this. And what reminds me more than anything is going to the fellowship of AA, where we have people who are one day sober to 30, 40, 50 years sober, a day at a time. And it is only a day program, moving from the problem into the solution of living life sober. So fellowship for me is integral to my recovery, and it is fellowship. It's an organisation, AA. Well, no, it's not an organisation, it's a fellowship. Get it right? Nearly fell into my own trap. Fellowship, ordinary people with all their foibles and outlooks. And the trouble is, we have to work on what we have, one day at a time. We can't solve all our problems in one go. Anyway, what we share at the beginning of every meeting is the preamble of AA. And I don't speak for AA, just so you know. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes, and certainly doesn't endorse or oppose my videos. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And the gift of fellowship is that we all keep our personal opinions, and we have this one similarity, a desire not to drink a day at a time. So whether you are a right-winger or left-winger, a middle-of-the-road person, a believer in God, a non-believer in God, but just having a bit of faith, courage and confidence to meet the day, we all rub along together, and we don't go by status. And hopefully in the end we stop judging others and start looking at our own actions and our own ability to make life work. It's a self-healing program, learning from others, experience, strength and hope. And I use daily reflections most days to give me a better outlook, if you like. And it's very apt that on February the 12th it says this: the root of all our troubles. Selfishness, self-centeredness, that we think is the root of all our troubles. How amazing the revelation that the world and everything in it can get along just fine with or without me. What a relief to know that people, places, things will be perfectly okay without any control or direction. And how wordlessly wonderful to come to believe that a power greater than me exists exist separate and apart from myself. I believe that the feeling of separation I experience between me and God will one day vanish. In the meantime, faith must serve as the pathway to the centre of my life. And you know, my faith is in truth. God is truth, God is love, and God works through people. And who knows, my understanding and breadth of living may change my views. It often does, a day at a time. But there, the root of the problem, selfishness, self-centered. You know, the world is revolving around me and my problems, and why won't the world make its choice to be the way I want it to be? And the gift is, as we learn in the fellowship, is that we are powerless over people, places and things. We cannot change our history, and if we live in the resentments of the past, we undo everything about us. We lose our understanding of now. And Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now often talks about being in this one moment. We cannot change our history, but if we relive it over and over again, we listen to our secrets and we listen to the lies of the past. That gets us back into that mode of obsessive thinking and feeling that the world is doing something harsh to us, when in fact the world is just turning as it will. And the world will keep on turning without us, and some people may miss us, or some people will be relieved that we've left the planet, or we're not engaged in their lives because of the way we behaved in the past. But the trouble is, as we come out of the fog of alcohol, or whatever it was that laid us low in isolation and fearful of everything around us, we still have to deal with life as it is. And if we're still full of ego, brave-facing, and putting ourselves first to the exclusion of others, never seeing it through other people's eyes, and never seeing it from another person's point of view, or we keep ourselves narrow, believing that God will do everything for us, then we are in trouble, because we need to work at life. We need to work at spiritual. We need to work at our courage, faith and confidence to meet the day as it is. Reality. Reality is the spiritual experience. And so often people forget this. So what do we do about reality? And where are we feeling safe? I mean, I feel more safe in truth and reality. The spiritual connection to now, the present moment, where we need not fear life as much as maybe fearing the past or fearing the future. And what about our friends in fellowship who maybe have a very narrow view of life? And that can be based on sometimes let go and let God, to the point where we don't actually take responsibility for our actions. You know, God made it so, so therefore that is the way it is. Or God will help me if I pray hard or meditate hard. Or God will be on my side because I have blind faith, courage and confidence. And the trouble with blind faith, courage and confidence is it has no basis either in reality or spiritual connection. So for me, experiences around people who say, God willing, God gave me a parking space, God saved me from a parking ticket, God saved me from my employer, all these things, and the resentments around life, resentments about the reality of now. I'm not paid enough. What am I going to do? I'm not taken account of. I'm not being pandered to. I'm not being seen as the true person I am. I am a good person. All these things harbour grudges against others and ourselves. So when people come to me and say, what shall I do about this and what shall I do about that? I suggest finding out what the truth of now is first, and then trying to change one item at a time. Don't make complete life changes all at once and suddenly find that nothing has any substance at all. And then the reliance on God becomes all-consuming, and the resentment against life, the universe and everything can be easily fallen into, that trap that it's all the rest of life's fault and never mine. And I can do what I like because I'm me, and I have to put myself first. It happens too often in AA and fellowship, and other environments too, where people still remain self-obsessed, selfish beyond belief, and cannot see the truth of now. I guess the answer is quite simple, really. We have to find a way to live life, finding the truth. And the simple truth can be that we have been relying too heavily on faith, courage and confidence without foundation. If there's no truth in what we believe, or the faith we have, if there's no miracle that we can see, that each day we can move from the problem to the solution, that each problem does have a solution, and it can be that we can change something or we can't change something. And it's that serenity prayer which comes to hand. God, or in good conscience, or to the truth. Grant me serenity to accept those things I cannot change, courage to change those things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And over-reliance on faith without foundation is of no use to man nor beast. Years ago someone asked me what is the definition of insanity, and I said I didn't know, and they had a definition. It is, in fact, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So the madness that we can be in, that absolute madness of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. We need let go, resentment, fear, ego, brave facing as best we can.